I got one more twin engine spin video to do for you. You know, spins are complicated, and spinning a twin engine airplane is even more complicated. Who would have thought? So let's look at a twin that did 1,200 spins in testing. Stick with me on FlyWire. Hi, I'm Scott Perdue, and today on FlyWire I want to look at a spin program that was done with the Beechcraft Duchess Model 76. Do you remember my discussion with Juan Brown on this topic in our podcast, BSWorks Episode 5, talking about twins and spins? I talked about the spin recovery procedure for the F-15E. Well, I was surprised to hear about this massive spin test program in a twin with the Model 76 Duchess. A viewer watched that video, that BSWorks podcast, and sent me a note about the spin recovery procedure that would work in all twins and singles. Doesn't matter, this is it. You know, it handles it. Aileron into the spin, rudder into the spin, recover from the dive. Oh, and aft elevator, and recover from the dive. That's it, nothing else. This is a giant misunderstanding of what's going on in the spin and what you have to stop. Please don't bet your life on that procedure, okay? But it was done, and those kind of movements were done, but in the video, and you're going to see it in a little bit. First off, I want you to go watch my video on accelerated spins in the Extra 300L. I'll leave a link to in the description below. In-spin aileron, okay, is a pro roll input. The airplane rolls into the inside of the spin and the nose drops. It doesn't recover from the spin by itself. In-spin rudder is how we induce a spin in training, and we keep it there until it's ready to recover. It's a pro-spin input. Forward stick is a pro-spin input. Power is a pro-spin input. Man, there's a whole lot of pro-spin stuff going on here. See my video on spins where I tufted the wing of the aerobatic Bonanza and the tail to visualize the airflow for both the inside and the outside, both the tail and the wing. It's fascinating. I think it's fascinating. So to stop a spin, you must stop the auto-rotational moment. The best solution to inadvertent spins, without any doubt, is to put a wedge like my Bonanza, my aerobatic Bonanza, my F-33C. I've done several videos at least on this, and this would be an incredible safety addition for our older GA airplanes. It is makes an airplane, a wing, very spin resistant. Some airplane designs have the little auto-rotational moment and have to be kept in a spin. Notably, the Cessna 150 is one of those. And what it wants to do is recover into a spiral. A couple other airplanes recover into a spiral as the next phase. The vast majority of airplanes must rely on the rudder to stop the yaw. And then you fix the stall and recover from the dive. Pretty much signed, sealed, delivered. That's kind of the way it happens. So where things go astray is when you add mass moments at some distance to the center line or at the extreme ends of the aircraft. These centers of mass, like engines, propellers, fuel tanks, cargo, become mass moments around the spin axis that dynamically affect the spin profile of that particular airplane. And the spin axis, you know, it's not like the roll axis here or the yaw axis here. The spin axis is going to be about like this, somewhere in the middle, kind of in the back seat of the Bonanza. If in BSWorks we were talking about a bearing that had impacted the ground in a flat spin, presumably from a VMC demo. I did a rough back-of-the-envelope calculation based on those 500-pound engines on either wing of the bearing and discovered that those engines create a 12,700 pound-foot force that wants to keep the spin going, okay? And the only way to overcome that is by a very small triangular portion of the rudder that's exposed to the relative wind, something around 2 square feet of area, give or take a little, but it's very small. This is just the fore and aft force of the center of mass from both engines. Doesn't count the lateral force of the engines offset from the wing because they're actually forward of the wing. Beech really did get into spin testing, and they did over 200 spins in the B-55 and the B-58 airplanes, the Barons. As I remember, they had to resort to the chute, I think it was like 3 times, okay? And they never actually recovered, had a recovery using normal techniques from a developed spin. Not that I can tell. Their recommendation in the POH is to do a spin prevent, okay? That's all that is spin prevent. And it's a good thing. That's what you need to know. But it isn't a spin recovery. Which brings me to this Duchess spin testing program. Apparently, they did over 1,200 spins, and from the sound, they even started with a vertical wind tunnel. From the sounds of the promotional video they did, they thought they would be able to market the Duchess as a twin that could do spins. It was meant to be a training airplane, after all, so why not add spins to the repertoire, make it more valuable? They even did a few without the spin chute to validate that it was not a factor. Okay, they figured out that a successful successful spin recovery protocol, and I think the results might have influenced the F-15E protocol because it's very similar with a couple of caveats. But first, let's talk about this T-tail Duchess. Okay, I've flown T-tail Piper, the King Air 350, and the MD-80 also have T-tails. Okay, we only installed that DC-9 in the sim, but I did full styles in the Piper. And, I've slept since then, so since I did my complex checkout in that airplane. So my memory might be a little bit wrong, but what I remember is there being little notice of an imminent stall, the brake, and the nose drop. In general, T-tails are not good in stalls. You can see how turbulent that air is right here. It blanks out the elevator and the rudder. They're just deep stalls. That's what they get into. How do you get it out? That's the problem. This is what's going on. Just prior to the stall brake in the T-tail, in most designs, it is blanked by turbulent air coming off the wing. And the center of pressure is right where the airplane can enter a deep stall, and it has no flight control or authority to counter it. That's the problem. Perhaps a roll off to one side. You can't do it with rudder. Maybe the ailerons that would do it. It depends. So, but then you got adverse yaw, and that's a spin, which all that invites risking other results. Okay, spins are a problem. The Duchess is a T-tail design, and in a spin, much of the T-tail is blanked itself because the elevator, the horizontal, is a big stall fence, and that stagnates the airflow over the rudder. If you saw the previous videos in this series, you might remember that I said, and I demonstrated, that an in-spin action is a pro-roll input. Okay, that's my accelerated spins in the Extra 300L. The F-15E uses in-spin aileron to roll out of a spin and into a spiral, and that's after the spin is started. In the Duchess spin test program, that is indeed the protocol that they worked out. It takes a while to become effective. Okay, it's 5 to 6 turns, something like that. Add up elevator to lessen the stall effect, blanking the rudder, and you have a spin recovery protocol. That's what they worked out. With in-spin aileron, the airplane will end up spinning very nose low, and in my opinion, when you have up elevator, then this cleans up the airflow over the rudder, allowing a normal spin recovery method using the rudder, that opposite rudder, to stop the yaw, neutralize the controls, and then the elevator can be effective again and allow recovery from the dive. Okay, let's look at that video now of one of the spin tests. Okay, I want you to look for the inside aileron to be up, the elevator to be up, and the rudder is in spin. The film's a bit grainy. I can't do anything about it.
The program has proceeded with active cooperation from the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, which is active in a broad basic research program to develop the technology required to improve the stalling and spinning characteristics of light general aviation airplanes. Beech Aircraft Corporation has actively supported this NASA research program.
Okay, I'm going to make the comment that the mass moments of the Duchess engine is quite a bit less. It's probably less than half of the Baron. And with the technique that the factory used or worked out, is virtually the whole rudder was exposed to the relative wind. Not quite all of it, but virtually all of it. The test pilot in this test, he started the spin with in-spin aileron, already deflected. And I don't know, was that part of the departure recovery procedure throughout the whole thing? In other words, before the incipient phase even started? Or is it part of the anti-spin control deflections, okay? That wouldn't be any longer effective. I don't know. But what did Beech end up doing about the spin certification of the Duchess? I mean, they recovered a whole bunch of these without using the chute. Well, here's the POH, and they recommend spin recovery technique that's the same as the Baron. It's a spin prevent. It's not a normal spin recovery profile. My advice is to be vigilant for the nose slice and be spring-loaded to use that spin prevent to stop the yaw right effing now, okay? Because once it develops, yeah, I'm not sure you're going to be able to get out. Baron for other reasons. Duchess for, they're a little bit different. Alternatively, you could be a test pilot and, try that in-spin aileron after the nose yaw is more than 90 degrees, just see where you can engage it. If you missed your moment to prevent the spin, what do you have to lose? I mean, heck, it's said that you lose about 500 feet per spin, and it takes something like 5 to 6 spin rotations in the Duchess to stop the yaw and begin dive recovery. That's what it shows. So if you used a stopwatch to time the spins that I've done in the video, the F-33C, you would notice that it takes about somewhere around 3 seconds for a single developed spin rotation. 500 feet per spin rotation, if you do the math, it works out to be somewhere around 10,000 foot per minute decent rate. Time's not on your side, okay? Even if you're 10,000 feet, you don't have much time. So what I'm trying to say is that if you have no other choice, you can try being a test pilot because you got beyond your window and might as well do something. But I'm certainly not going to try it out, not me personally. So I think your best bet is to learn how to do a spin prevent and avoid the spin altogether, okay? Now that you know, you be the judge and you decide what you're going to do. Do the spin prevent. I'm saying that's maybe your best chance here. And let me know in the comments below. I'd like to hear what you have to say. So there you have it. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, hit like and subscribe. It looks a bit like this here, and then the bell for notifications. I'd like to thank my Patreon supporters as well, and I'll leave you a link below if you'd like to help out. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned a little bit about spins and the fact that there was a spin test program, fairly massive, done on a light twin, and they came out with the same answer. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on FlyWire.